Hello, awesome people, and welcome to this awesome recording. And I just want to say a big thank you for joining me from Edward's Ear. And you're joining me for turning your marketing mistakes into profitable wins. And this is developed by myself, of course, sitting right here at my awesome PC, speaking to you somewhere and sometime in the world, wherever you may be. And first things first, if you guys know me in the real world, it's great meeting you. If not, I'd love to introduce myself to you online. My name's Edward's Ear. I'm a marketing and sales mentor, and I specialize in helping small business owners and entrepreneurs. And what I do more or less is I'm a networking leader, marketer, sales trainer, blogger, and I actually teach globally these days, which I'm really happy about. That's one of my favorite photos of me taking the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And of course, me running a workshop down below of one of my great friends and colleagues, or a seminar actually. So just want to say a big thank you for joining me. And really what I want to talk to you today about is helping you with your small business marketing and sales, helping you with your success and helping you get that little bit more. And just to give you a bit of insight into what I do, and I think this is a great opportunity for you to get to know me and me to tell you more about what I do and also give you some amazing advice to help you. So just a bit of details about me, and this is what I love to read out all the time, is that as a marketing mentor and certified practicing marketer, it holds myself and my business accountable to the highest ethical and personal development standards of my industry. So as a member of the Australian Marketing Institute and working worldwide, all the information and content I give you in this presentation is general advice and education only, okay? It's not intended to constitute personal advice. So for that, please contact me for personal mentoring. And all these materials and development produced by myself and marketed by Edward's Ear of Excellence above. It's copyright 2014. So there you go. I've got all the heavy details of the way, but just want to be very firm with you on that one. This is general educational advice, and what I want to do is give you a lot of information, ideas, and talk to you about my own learnings to see how they can best help you, okay? And of course, if you need more personal help, just contact me directly. Now, getting right into the exciting stuff. We're here to talk about small business sales and marketing, and it's a massive area, as you can see by these titles. There's personal selling, there's public selling, sales materials, online products, LinkedIn, blogging, Facebook. The list of possibilities with small business sales and marketing is endless. There are so many different tools out there. And what we're going to talk about today is really talking about the profitable wins, those key things that you can do and I see quite commonly. And here's what I want to do with you today. I want to cut to the chase and tell you amazing facts, teach you what I've learned from the street level and also from doing my postgrad and all the education I've done. And I want to give you a lot. I'm not here to hold stuff back. I want to prove to you that I'm worthy of doing business with. So there you go. As a Persian man, that challenge is out there. And here's a big thing. Overwhelm is a massive issue for business owners. You're not alone. We've all been there. I've been there when I started out. And if you feel confused, I'm hitting you with lots of stuff, don't worry about a thing. You can watch this over and over again. I've got some, great educational products that you can purchase, or you can talk to me directly, whatever you need to best help you through the process. And again, I've been in the marketing profession for a long time now. I've been in marketing, sales and marketing for over 15 years. I've been in terms of actual full-time marketing management corporate roles since the age of 15. Age of 15, what am I talking about? Since the age of 24, I've been in the full-time sales and marketing roles in the corporate space. But of course, the reason why I say the age of 15 is when I actually started selling things, selling magazine subscriptions, candies at school. And it was even that at the time, even though I started off in doing the industrial sciences in my early career, I just felt a love from sales and marketing at that early age. And who knows, whoever thought that as I'm sitting here at the age of 36, I'd have a full-time successful business doing this thing. So there you go. So that's what I want to talk to you about. And there's a lot of things I'm going to throw at you. So take one juicy step at a time. And as you can tell, all these recordings are raw and real. And here's the big thing I love telling people. Successful marketers and going hard. And I love Rosie the Riveter. To me, she's the underdog making it happen, a great World War II inspiration. And this is what I love, and my own personal street definition of small business marketing. It's making your business more awesome, helping people find it, selling, looking after clients, and selling more. We can do it, and I love that. And of course, a big dedication to my fine mother. That's me on the left. It was taken a few years ago, actually, but a lot of people say, I'm looking actually fitter than I used to. And there's my awesome mother. And I just want to say, my awesome mother, Tiani, she made my business all possible. During the tough times of losing everything in the GFC and coming back, my family's been right there to support me. So I just want to say, thank you, Mom. You are just awesome. A lot of people say you can see the family resemblance. Now, in terms of the actual, turning the top marketing mistakes into profitable wins, I want to go back to where this all began and reflecting on some of my own origins. And I think when you go back to where it all began and reflect on origins, and how can I say, I'm the sort of guy that whenever I learn something new, I like to understand its origins, where it all came from and how it was built. A good example is blogging. I know a lot of people who teach blogging, and I teach blogging as well. But very few people actually know what blog stands for. It stands for weblog, which became blog, right? Weblog, blog, that makes sense. I like finding out this thing, and I find that when I think back to my own origins and look at the origins things that we learn, it gives you that understanding. And a lot of my business and what I teach is, look, it's the strategies and the wins, but it's also the understanding, the theory behind it, the mechanism. And to me, especially, before I went into full-time marketing, I was actually an industrial chemist. And when I was an industrial chemist, the good thing that it really imprinted on me was that even though I'm obviously not in the chemical industry anymore, I don't deal drugs, okay? So don't say that because I'm Middle Eastern. Haha, it's a joke. But understanding mechanisms to me is very important. And when I go back to where it all began, really understanding how things work in your business, what the mechanism is. If someone buys from you, why do they buy from you? If someone doesn't buy from you, why they don't buy from you? That understanding is critical. And what I've learned in business, especially in talking my own business and the thousands of people I've now worked with, be it personally or through workshops or the like, the trick is to cut mistakes early, prevent mistakes, and get as many profitable wins as soon as possible. And the reality is, most of our decisions in business are just based on 30% information at best. And our goal is you're not going to get everything perfect, but you want to get more and more wins over time. And if you make mistakes, you want to keep them small and your wins big. And this is the top tool of marketing, reflection. Sitting back with reflection, understand what works and what doesn't. And if you fail, ask why and fail forward. Okay. Now the book Failing Forward is a brilliant book. Check it out on Amazon. I love that book and it really inspired me in a lot of my thinking, what I'm talking about today. And of course, as you succeed, ask why. Now, this is what it all comes down to. Practicing what you preach. And this is where a lot of my strategic reasoning comes from. I always believe in practicing what I preach. I've done 30,000 plus consulting hours and worked with thousands of awesome people. And whenever you market, I always love to consider the cost versus the return of what you're getting, okay? And I spend my time, I've traveled to quite a few different parts across the world building my knowledge as well. As you can see me in Manila with the awesome security guy that looked after me. That's another story for another time. And of course, when you talk small business marketing, getting more clients is often a critical aspect of a business, have as much more to it. And this is where I sort of want to, have the opportunity, if I can, to really open your mind on that one. It's not just getting clients in successful sales and marketing, it's getting the right clients. It's automated marketing, correct pricing, packages, approaches, personal selling. Marketing is a massive area of business and it's a lot more than just selling stuff to people. I want to sort of get that encompassing theme there. Good example, that's a photo of me and my good friend and client who I've worked with for years, Philip Raish, does a lot of my printing as well, and he's a great guy that gets it. He really understands that global perspective of business and gets all the different element rights. So getting clients is part of the mix, but there's a lot more to it than that, and I'll really want to cover into that. Now, again, my heading might sound a bit negative. I'm talking about the words mistakes, but what I want to do is just be direct with people and talk about often the top 10 things, worldwide, that I don't see being done in business owners. And my goal of this presentation is that in a very, very short space of time, I can give you some insights, one or two useful gems of information that you can really use to transform your business and really get more results so you can start tomorrow, okay? You can only learn and prevent mistakes. And here's the big thing, the top 10 profitable wins. And we always make mistakes, and I hope you enjoy my little internet meme on the right-hand side. When it comes to the top 10 profitable wins, these are the areas that, talking more positively now, when you do properly, you can really radically increase your business, sales, and marketing and financial success. And even though I'm wording it positively, very rarely do people quite consider these. And, take the time, sit back, watch this over and over again and really consider it. In fact, I'm holding a beautiful cup of tea now, which I'm going to have a sip of to keep my voice nice and, giving you the full vocal range to continue. There you go. So if you haven't got a cup of coffee, mate, or tea, I encourage you that you get one. Now, point one, and I'm going to go through each 10 of these in quite good detail to help your winner. Now, there's a joke behind that one. You'll have to dig up that internet meme. If I look at my most successful clients and colleagues, they always have a strong sense of direction. And developing that direction quite often, I think, can be more of a process of elimination. And what I'm inferring to or alluding to is that when you start out in business, the issue is not so much what you generally have an idea of what you need to do, but the problem I had, and many people starting out do, or even people who've been in business for a while and they're just a bit stuck and overwhelmed, is that there's just so much to do. What do you do? What don't you do? Of the probably, 800 different marketing techniques or strategies out there, which are the best ones? I hope to answer some of that in this video that I'm sharing with you. And here are a few things that I really want you to just consider. And of course, this is a whole area of its own, and this is just giving you some things to consider. What type of business are you in? Are you a coach? Are you a mentor? Are you a consultant? You're a health person? Are you running a coffee shop? Are you a defense supplier? It's always really good to understand what you do for a living and the perks and the quirks of your industry, okay? It's great to understand what you're great doing. Like, for example, when I was at university, I was outstanding at biology. In fact, I actually topped my class in biology, but I hated it, okay? So even though I was great at it, I didn't like it. So again, I was great at biology. But one thing I found later on in life, I was great at public speaking, I was great at selling, I was great at marketing, and I loved it. And that leads to my second point. What do you want to do in your business? Like, for example, if you hate personal selling and you just don't want to do it, there are other marketing strategies to get you around personal selling. Now, I think you should get, just for the record, I think you should get good at personal selling, but there's heaps of different ways around it. So you want to understand what you're great at, but what do you want to do? Okay. Like, for example, I was great at biology, but I enjoyed chemistry a lot more. Ironically, I wasn't as good as chemistry. But then I went off and studied industrial chemistry and became an industrial chemist before I sort of went in the, this is after my government days, before I went in the marketing direction. And then when you consider what you're great at doing, what do you want to do? What is the marketing willing to pay you for? Okay. What is the market willing to pay you? So be it you're just sitting at your desk at work frustrated like I was, conjuring up your business, or you're currently in business and you need to sort of restructure and have a new look at things. I like to, sort of postulate all these questions. And also, what type of problems do you want to sell in the world? What kind of problems do you want to solve in the world? What I mean is, what kind of solutions to those problems do you want to solve? And that's always a good one to, I think, consider as well on that, in terms of that regard. Second point is goals with clarity. Clarity. It's critical to be clear on where your business is at and what is required in the actual pathway to achieve the goals and outcomes. And what I suggest is, why are you in business? What's motivating you? What's driving you? Because if it's just, if you're just there to pay bills, you're not going to be that motivated. And when stuff doesn't go your way in business, which happens all the time, you're not necessarily going to have that inner drive to get over it. You want to think about why you're in business. It could be to help people change lives. This is pretty much mine. Help people change lives, provide for my family, and lead a great quality life and do awesome, inspiring things. So I really want to encourage you to think about the big whys of why you're in business. And especially, it's important from a sales and marketing view because it gives you that drive. And the question is, and I always like to say this as well, as a vehicle, I like to look at business as a vehicle. How does it support your life? So in other words, your life purpose is not to own a business or be in business. It's to achieve what you really want and self-actualize yourself. However, I see business as a vehicle for helping us get there. And we spend a lot of time in that vehicle. So you want to ask yourself, where are you going to be 12 months from now? And what are the 30, 60, 90-day wins to knock off the list? And you'll see this great template I have here. And I talk about this in my online products, of course, and often in my workshops. But the 90-day action plan, you really want to look at what you're doing and the behaviors that you need to do to get the success you want. And I love 90 days because it sort of breaks things down and you can be very, very good with this one. What do you need to do within 30 days, within 60 days, within 9 days and 9 days and beyond? So prioritizing is a very important way and that can help you get a lot more clarity in your business. The third area, of course, is a premium identity and image. Now, small businesses, very rarely can you compete on price alone. Like, I'm in Australia, as you can probably tell by my Eastern Suburbs accent. Excuse me while I have a sip of tea. It's actually very cold as I'm doing this. It's about 5 degrees outside in a Sydney winter. So I'm having my hot tea just to keep my voice going. Look, and the thing is that, in business, small businesses, and I see a lot of small businesses trying to compete on price, and it's a very, very dangerous thing for the simple reason is small businesses don't have the scale. A good example is, the hardware store wars. In Australia, we have a hardware chain called Bunnings, which is massive and sells everything, and that pretty much took out all the corner stores selling hardware. And the thing is that, again, Bunnings is massive. It can sell things a lot cheaper than any small business owner can. So you can't compete on price. So the ones that often have survived, talking the hardware space or in any industry, have a compelling premium image. Now, cafes are a brilliant example of this. Cafes, in fact, in Australia, Starbucks never actually did that well. It's always the little cafes that really excelled in Australia. And part of the ones that often do have that real compelling premium image. And just, a few top line brands. You've got Audi, BMW, Microsoft, Gloria Jean's Coffee in Australia, Lorna Jane, Sony, Billabong. These are some top brands, and some of them being Australian. And they have that image that you pay for. Now, bring it back to small business again. I'm not just saying, Microsoft and Apple do it and so should you. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just using them as a metaphor to sort of talk about premium quality, having that right identity image so you can charge premium prices. Now, a good example are coffee shops. I go to Sydney CBD quite a bit, and there's coffee shops everywhere. You can't go anywhere without going to a decent coffee shop. But the coffee in Sydney is actually not that good. It's nowhere near as good as Melbourne. You can tell I'm from Melbourne. Melbourne is is the capital of Victoria. Very, very good Greek and Italian population with a brilliant coffee. But Sydney coffee is quite average overall. Now, what happens in Sydney CBD is you can have someone charging $3 or even $2.80 for pretty much a lousy cup of coffee, but you can have someone charging $3.50 for a cup of coffee, and if the quality's better, they'll actually sell more at a higher price. And coffee shops to me is the best understanding of quality. So be it you're selling coaching, mentoring, or whatever, you want to have that premium quality at all times. And here's what it comes down to: the positive and negative cues. And this is a marketing concept. When people come to assessing a product, they like to add up the positive and negatives in their mind. So, let's use the coffee shop example. If it's a good fit out, you get served quickly, the quality is great, it adds more positives and more reasons for people to buy or come back. Whereas let's say it's good coffee, but it takes too long, it's a negative. And you might get away with it, but let's say that the coffee quality drops. Then the positive is enough to outweigh the negative and people stop going. So it's a good way of thinking about things. And let's say you're in business as well. Let's say, a lot of people who are consultants study my courses. But let's say you're a consultant. You got to make sure you look the part. You have great business cards. You've got a great website. You want to, as much as you can, there's going to be negatives in your business. You're not going to control them all, but within as much capability as possible, you want to have as many positives as possible to help get people over the line. And this is the best one, and I sort of make this joke all the time. But it's not a joke. I say it in a joking manner, but I'm dead serious when I say it. Sales and marketing consistency. And we often say that inconsistent marketing is a common issue easily fixed by consistent marketing. Now, I know I'm sounding obvious, but even me, and even I've got blood on my hands on this one. A lot of people in business, including me, I've done this before, haven't been very consistent with their sales and marketing. And it's funny, like when you go to even big companies, they're pumping out invoices at the same time, they're getting their computers checked at the same time. However, when it comes to sales and marketing, quite often there's not much structure, and people tend to market or sell when they want to, not when they have to. So for example, if taxes are due, you're going to pay your taxes, and just because you don't feel like it doesn't mean you don't do it. And I encourage that same level of vigor when it comes to sales and marketing. The people that do that can change their businesses immediately. So I'll give you an example. You might know exactly already what you need to do in business. I'm making this up, but let's say you got to go to networking events, you got to post on Facebook or LinkedIn, and you got to meet people for meetings and sell. The issue is you may not have a strategic issue, you might have a consistency implementation issue. And I've had some clients, just by doing this, they've doubled or tripled their businesses in no time at all. Okay, and I'm not saying they just startups and they go on from 1 to 3 clients. I'm talking someone who's, let's say, got 40 clients and they build themselves to 80 clients, just through this approach. And it's amazing. And what I have here is actually, and I hope you can see it in the recording, but if not, I'll just read out some prominent ones. But these are my old KPIs. So what a KPI is, a key performance indicator, and this is from April 2013. And so as I'm doing this video in sort of mid to late 2014. And what it is here is that these are the activities that you need to have completed to get the results that you're after, okay? So in other words, instead of just waking up and saying, I'm going to do this week, and by the way, I'm not having a shot at small business owners, even big businesses do it too. Instead of waking up every week and saying, oh rats, I need to do this. What the idea is to actually list out the tasks, what you need to do. What do you need to do every week to get the success that you want? How are you going to go about it? Okay. So here's one of my old samples from 2013. It kept me on track and it was absolutely amazing. Okay. So for example, in 2013, in those days, it's a lot different now because I'm a lot more of an online guy and do a lot more public speaking and that as I sit here personally talking to you. At the time, I would do 3 networking events a week. I'd have 3 meetings a week. I'd post on Facebook every day. I'd give at least 4 referrals a week. And as you can see down there, I had that consistency, and it's that structure that radically increased my revenue. Now, I remember my business used to be about 4K a month. I got up to 8K a month in just a few months of just that better consistency. So it could just be what you need in your business. The next one, of course, is pricing products and packages. And it's a massive, massive issue. And this is where I often encourage clients of mine to also speak to their accountants as well, because you're going to get the marketer's business view for me. It's great to speak to a finance professional on this one as well. And there's two extremes of pricing that I see all the time. Most small business owners don't charge anywhere near enough for what they're worth and what they're paying. And you get the odd few that just try and rip everyone off, but fortunately, they don't last very long. There's two extremes, not being fair to your clients, which I don't encourage, and not being fair to your family. And of course, there's a balance here, okay? I love my tea. Most charge unfairly against themselves, and it's generally linked to your own self-esteem. And I can talk, previously on this one. When you're starting out, rightfully so, you're not that confident in what you're doing, and it takes a while to build that confidence through results. So as your self-esteem increases, naturally, most people increase their pricing over time, which is great. So if you're in business and let's say you're really good at what you do, but you have self-esteem issues, which I had, work on your self-esteem, get a life coach or whatever, or, listen to some positive stuff, deal with some of your issues, improve your self-esteem. If you know you've got top quality, but you're not charging for it, usually there's a self-esteem issue linked to that, is what I found, okay? And the other side of it is as well, is that, if you have a quality issue, please increase your quality. And I always say, if you're selling an Audi, you got to pay for an Audi. And it's only fair that you do that. And just Audi, which is one of my favorite car brands, they're everywhere all over Sydney. There's dealers everywhere. And they're not cheap. But people still buy them because you're getting Audi pricing for a quality Audi. And this is the encouragement I give to you all. Consider increasing your prices by 10%. Almost everyone I say that to can get away with it. About 80, 90% of people can get away with that tomorrow. You can increase your pricing by 10% and not lose any volume. So just putting that out there. And just a bit of information on products, prices, and packages. Again, I could do a several-hour workshop on this topic, which I have. Hourly rates are a great thing. A lot of consultants will be listening to this, people who are selling their time for money, which is great. However, the more packages you can create, the better. So, for example, you could package up your time and sell it that way. And quite often, a bit like a coffee shop, having 3 to 5 package options can be a great thing for many consulting businesses. Now, coffee shops usually have, let's say, small, regular, and large. And people often buy in between. So I know a lot of Gloria Jean's coffee franchises. I've done work with those guys before. And what you often find is, if you're not from Australia, they're a massive Australian coffee franchise, actually from America. That's a different story for another time, but I think they're quite fascinating and I love them a lot. If you go to any Gloria Jean's coffee franchise, and I'm sure the same as the Starbucks as well, is that people generally buy the one in the middle, okay? So if you've got 2 to 4 packages, most of your sales will generally be in the middle. That's the way people sort of think. It's good to know that. So great to have packages that way to support you. And of course, 6, you want to have commercial feasibility and budgets. And that is, you can have the great business idea ever, but you got to make money in a sustainable fashion. And now the reality is that when you start out your business, it's crazy at the start. And I hope you like my crazy pick there. When you start in business, you generally have no money, no time. Life is really hard. And you're often spending more than you're bringing in. Like if your revenue is 0 and you're spending $1,000 a month, obviously you're negative. So as quickly as possible when you're in business, you want to build up to a point where you're making more money than what you're bringing in. And secondly, if you've been in business for a while, and let's say you haven't increased your prices and your margins and profitability is declining, that's a massive issue in itself too, So you want to make sure that there's commercial feasibility, your spending is in control. You are spending, you have to spend on marketing, but you're spending it in a restrained fashion. You know what you're doing, you're being very critical. And again, from a marketing viewpoint, and this is, again, I'm not an accountant, I don't pretend to be, and I encourage you to speak to your accountant on this one. I personally speak to my accountant all the time, and it's amazing in keeping me moving that way. Definitely speak to your accountant too on this one, or if not, go and get yourself a good accountant, or even speak to a friend who's studying accounting at uni or something. But you want to make sure that your product and service, you deliver it in a way that it's great for the client, it's good for you, and it helps you pay all your bills and leaves you a great profit. That is sustainable. And the reason is, I'll talk about sustainability a lot is, using myself, I'm a marketing mentor. I do a lot of workshops and online these days. But when I started out, I was very reliant on the one-on-one consulting. Now, in terms of my business, from day one, I've never had contracts, never once. People can come and go. Some people use me as short as a month or as long as forever, right? It's always month by month in terms of how people use my personal marketing and sales mentoring services. Now, what was interesting is that it took me a while to build up my revenue, but it was very sustainable. People would come and go as they liked. They'd like what I do. They'd give me referrals. Now, what was interesting, at the time, I had a lot of people criticizing me and they're all back at work now. A lot of people who are, let's say, business coaches or whatever are saying, "Oh, Ed, you're stupid. You suck. what I do is that I put my clients on 12-month contracts, and I charge 3 times your amount, so I deliver more value than you. Well, for starters, a lot of them didn't even go to uni, let alone didn't have the experience that I had. But the point being is they all went in charging more and having really, really over onerous terms, though, I believe, for their clients. And what would happen is that they actually made more money than me in the early start of my business, but they all fell over because they were charging too much. They weren't able to deliver beyond their experience. Their clients weren't happy. And a lot of people wouldn't continue the contracts anyway, and they wouldn't get positive referrals or word of mouth. So basically, my business model didn't make as much money at the start. It makes great money today, but it didn't make as much money at the start, but it was sustainable, okay? And I could actually build myself in a sustainable manner and achieve sustainable success and results. Okay, so you want to think long term, and great to speak to your accountant on this one. Okay, and I always do too. Real world marketing, number 7. Now, this is, I think, a common issue, and and look, depending on where you're at, I usually encourage people to start real world marketing first. Now, real world marketing is not online. Okay, so my first advice to most people, even online marketers, is make sure your real world sales and marketing and business strategy is right. Because the reality is that when often you talk online marketing, usually there's a bit of cost involved. These days of online marketing, you can do article writing and all that, which is great. But usually there's a bit of cost. You've got to build websites, you've got to pay, let's say, Facebook or whatever money. And generally, when you start out especially, or in business for a while, networking events and a lot of face-to-face real-world marketing generally doesn't cost that much, okay? It's generally higher time, but lower cash. So if you're on a shoestring budget, real-world marketing is the best. And this is what you sort of want to consider. And again, in this video, I go into a lot of these areas in my online or educational products, such as the Awesome Marketing Vault, or what I teach one-on-one. When it comes to real-world marketing, these are some of my top favorite strategies. Business networking, face-to-face, and public selling, like speaking. At events, strategic partners and referrals, building those great referral relationships, having that premium quality image, which we've touched on, price optimization, having that structure in your sales and marketing. That goes the same for your online too. If you're blogging every day, you've got to make sure you do that, and you've got to have a key performance indicator to guide you on that one. Direct marketing, such as letterbox drops or approaching people directly, or cold calling, which doesn't suit a lot of people but suits some industries. Having really good sales material. You can see that image there. I've got beautiful sales material, which I can use to help me sell clients. And having process and systems thinking, okay? Making sure that, your whole business is a process, and, you have fun and structure, but you have processes to support and serve you. And objective thinking and test and measure, okay? You're always looking at your business, improving what you're doing. Now, what I find interesting about this, a lot of these also cross over to the online world as well. So I'm sort of being, just going back a little bit, I'm sort of dividing things up. There is obviously a great deal of crossover, but I always like to look at my marketing in terms of real world and online world, okay? So here we are, and so it's good to also consider this, and feel free to watch this presentation over again, or check out our online products or whatever help that you need. Now, with online world marketing, now again, the internet hasn't really been out that long, but the internet has changed the world forever. And again, we're talking sales and marketing. It's totally changed that we work and do business. So there's an example. This is me in the Parramatta Westfields food court. You can see my PC, my Ultrabook on the right, and you can see my backpack there. And I'm just working away in a shopping mall connected to the internet. And it's amazing the way that we work. And I'm, every day, thousands of people see me on Facebook, at the time I'm doing this. It's amazing the marketing support I get. And here's the big thing. From the early day bulletin boards to now, train surfing, social media and Facebook, it gives us as marketers amazing opportunities to really speak to people. And again, this is probably, all these topics, you could probably spend weeks talking about these, but I just want to talk to you about the important things of online marketing. You want to have a brilliant website. So after people experience you in the real world, they can go and see you online. They get that good website, and the website sells for you. Online promotional videos, be it they're hosted on YouTube or embedded in your website, or you email them people. To me, if you have a good video that goes for 2 minutes, that promotes you 24/7 without you doing any work. Email marketing, adding people, legally to your database. Blogging, which I'm a massive fan of, and I actually teach a lot of. Facebook and LinkedIn, enough said on those ones. We all know the powerful platforms, but using them is critical. Getting good places in Google, pay-per-click advertising, which I generally don't recommend unless people are in certain industries and have larger budgets. YouTube, video, having your mobile devices, making sure your website works on a mobile, make sure your Facebook posts look good on mobile. Again, at the time I'm doing this presentation to you, this video, 46% of the traffic to my website is online. Okay, mostly from iPhones, but obviously Samsung's taking over. Ha ha ha. I love Google. And lead nurturing to conversion. Now, the thing is with online's quite an interesting one, because with online, if you don't know someone online, you just can't usually ask them for money, okay? You got to sort of have leads, you got to nurture them over time until they become clients. So that's another sort of side of things I want to talk to you about. And business networking. Now, I know I've said networking in a real world sense, which is over here, as you can see at the top, being point one. But in a online world, says networking is just as critical. And this is where they all link in. So LinkedIn, haha. So let's say you got a business networking event and meet 30 people. You'll add them to LinkedIn. As you become friends of someone, add them to Facebook, and you get that more intimate connection with them, okay? So again, I'm just going over quite a few of these, but I hope you can sort of see how they all come in. There's so many different things you can do out there, and the challenge is really picking what works for you. And here's another one, automated marketing. This is with one of my clients and friends, Suzanne Harrington, who's you can check out her book on Amazon Kindle, Trademarking Your Business. She's a trademarking specialist. And for example, she's written a book. So that's a product that she can make automated money from, while she sleeps. And it also gives her a lot of credibility too. That helps her become a leader in her industry. So what it comes down to with automated marketing is, and this is more of a general point, in addition to everything else, you want to have as much automated processes as possible, okay? So for example, selling 24/7, driving leads while you sleep is of the utmost importance. Like as I do this presentation, this changes all the time. Boosted posts on Facebook are very popular. You can put up a link, do a boosted post of it, and you can get heaps of people clicking it, going to your website. And provided your website's set up correctly and it's the right people and the ad's written, the Facebook post is written well and all's working, you can get automated sales while you're sleeping or doing whatever. So just something good to keep in mind in that regard. Okay, so I think it's very, very good, very, very good area. And just talking more on automated marketing, this is a whole area itself. You have social media campaigns, email autoresponders, active referral networks, paid real-world advertising. A lot rarer these days, but you might stick an ad in the paper. Very rare though. It's usually more or a technical publication. Hiring staff, members to sell promotional goods. And promotional goods are a good one. I still give away coffee cups and pens. They work amazingly well these days. Blogging and more. Okay, so you want to think in your marketing. Sure, I'm all for business networking, and I'm a networking leader at 4 Networking. I go to networking groups all the time. But you want to make sure you got those automated marketing processes working away for you as well. And that's especially much in online products, which is obviously something I'm very passionate about, and I do a lot more these days. Okay. And then my business cards too, high quality plastic, of course. And here's a big thing, test and measure and continuous improvement. Even top companies, Microsoft, Google, Apple, I've got the Angry Bird stuff there. People are always tweaking and improving it. Now, this is some street art I found of obviously Angry Birds, but they're a great example. You might just write them off as a simple app, but I understand they make hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, they're a massive company, and they're always forever putting out new products and tweaking their offering to stay current. No different for us small business owners, and especially salespeople. And what it comes down to in test and measuring is always keep an eye out in your business for what's working and what's not. Stuff all the time works and it doesn't. And you might have, let's say, a marketing strategy that works and something changes in the market and doesn't, and it stops working. You want to keep an eye on what works, what doesn't, and always be cutting losers. And, or let's say something's not working, tweak it, and try and get it working. Or what you do is, stop doing it and find another way of doing things. And you want to make sure you give winners that support. So, for example, if you find, Facebook is working better than your LinkedIn or vice versa, put more into Facebook than LinkedIn. Don't just do things that aren't working out. So always try and be objective in that regard. What's working and what doesn't. And this mental shift by itself can be very radical for most people. And, in terms of my own personal journey, I remember, and this is me doing some health fit, obviously. I lost heaps of weight then, and this is just after I lost heaps of weight. Eating hot chips. We call them chips in Australia, not French fries. And drinking black coffee, just really good to my body there. I try and be better than myself, of course. But look, from my early days of business, and when I had business cards for less than $50 to my modern heavy plastic business cards, and from, once using a LinkedIn page to my website, now my website costs over $14,000 to build. I know what it's like starting out and starting off with nothing, and sort of building your own repertoire of materials and tools and things like that you need. So I can relate. It's very hard when you start out in business, because I think the reality is when you start in business, you don't have a lot of money to buy all this expensive stuff to get you going. And even if you've been in business for a while, you might have family commitments, or whatever the case may be is, often it can be quite hard in marketing because often you got to put in money to get money back. Again, I used to have Vistaprint business cards where now I have these awesome plastic business cards. That's actually an older version. I've got a newer version now with even more great stuff on there. And the challenge is that I think at the start is earning enough money to live, but having enough money to invest in your business to make it bigger. It's a constant chicken and the egg struggle. And again, big companies have the problem too. We've all, dealing with situations, okay? But I'll tell you what, it's been an amazing adventure. And as you get into it, you tend to get a lot better. And you tend to get that success. And here's the thing is, now's the right time to start. So be it you're a startup, you were frustrated like me at work once, or you're in your own business for a few years, or been going for a while and you're listening to this to get some different ideas and look at things a bit differently. What I really encourage you to do is what help you need and where you're going. And what I always say is the 90-day action plan is of critical importance. So think about what are the urgent things you need to do, important things you need to do. What action do you need to take? And I invite you to consider, what can you do right now? What can you do after doing this video presentation to improve the betterment of your life and business? So let's face it, you want to be listening to this unless you're open-minded and you've got some kind of drive to really create a new life and business for yourself, which I think is awesome. And here's the big thing, I'm right behind you. You can see me in the top right of that photo there. It's a recent workshop that I did, an intimate workshop, which I really loved. And I've educated thousands of people with sales and marketing. And my business is focused on the small business owner and entrepreneur. And I do heaps of things from free webinars to blogging to online products, networking events, personal mentoring for sales and marketing. I'm right here to help you. So depending on where you're at and what you need, I just want to say I'm right behind you. And here's just an example. Feel free to visit my website, The Edward Files, and check out my blog. I usually blog every day. My goal is to do more than that, so I just love it and it works great for everyone. I give marketing tips all the time and talk about business and life. I've also got my awesome Marketing Vault, which is my online training course. And it's a very powerful educational device. And it's great for, small business owners and entrepreneurs. So you can check out my website there at excellenceabove.com.au, and it talks about the awesome Marketing Vault. And you can have a look into it. You can see it's got quite a few different modules, from anything from personal selling to business and marketing strategy and to using LinkedIn and the like. And it talks about a lot of top things. And it's not about quick wins. It's not about, get rich quick tomorrow strategies. It's about giving you that understanding and that thinking, and helping you build a sustainable and profitable business in that regard. And of course, if you need me one-on-one, I do a lot of public speaking and consulting. Just feel free to contact me to learn more. I can send you some details on me. And of course, as well, I just want to say a big thank you and goodbye for now. I really thank you for taking the time to watch this, be it you've got this from an email from me or you found it in my blog or whatever somewhere. But look, feel free to visit my website, check out the awesome Marketing Vault. You can email me personally right there. And I just want to say a massive thanks, and just a few IP notes as well. This is all copyright 2014. It's been created and developed by myself and presented by myself. And of course, I just want to say thank you to all my great friends for the photo use in there. And just want to say it's been great having you here. I'm right behind you. If we do know each other and you're watching this, thank you for watching us. If we've never met, perhaps we will meet one day. And if we never do meet, and this is the only contact we have, I just want to say an awesome thank you. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I wish you the best in the world, and I hope you have an amazing, massive, and awesome life. And of course, feel free to contact me anyway. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you for your time, and I really appreciate you giving me attention. And as again, take something from this, implement it tomorrow, and get some massive results you're going to be proud of. This is Edward Zier signing out. Thank you for listening, and have an awesome day or evening worldwide. Awesome friends. Thank you.